Max Crosby in a Dallas Cowboys uniform? That's the kind of rumor that immediately sends shockwaves through the NFC, and more importantly, puts the Philadelphia Eagles on high alert. We're talking about a team the Birds face twice a year, a division rival that's desperately trying to patch a broken defense and claw its way back into serious playoff contention. Now suddenly they're sniffing around one of the most disruptive edge rushers in the entire league. Yeah, this matters for Philly a lot. Let's rewind for a second and look at how all of this started. Trey Wingo, former ESPN anchor, threw out a tweet that caught everybody off guard. He's not usually a guy who breaks NFL trades or stirs up the rumor mill. But when a voice like his says the Cowboys have reached out to the Las Vegas Raiders about Max Crosby, people listen. And no, it wasn't just speculation. According to him, real conversations have happened. The Cowboys are kicking the tires on a deal that would send Crosby to Dallas. And when you look at how bad their defense has been since trading away Micah Parsons, it makes a lot of sense. Think back to earlier this year. Out of nowhere, Dallas pulled the plug on the Micah Parsons era. Traded him to Green Bay because, allegedly, they didn't want to pay the man. And Green Bay didn't blink. They gave him a record-breaking deal. Over $46 million per season. That made Parsons the highest-paid non-quarterback in NFL history. The Cowboys decided that was too steep, so they let their defensive centerpiece walk. And ever since then, their defense has completely fallen apart. We're talking about a unit that's giving up almost 30 points per game, 29.4 to be exact. That's 30th in the league. They're dead last in total yards allowed. They're bottom 3 in yards per play. They can't get off the field on third down. They can't stop anyone in the red zone. It's a disaster. Jerry Jones tried to patch things up by bringing in Kenny Clark, hoping to solidify the run defense. That hasn't worked. And now it looks like Dallas is trying to pull off a blockbuster move to stop the bleeding. So now, Max Crosby is the name being floated around. Let's be clear, Crosby isn't cheap. He's earning over $35 million per year after signing his own extension not long ago. But compared to what Parsons got, it's a bit more palatable, and maybe that's the calculation Jerry Jones is making. He wants an elite pass rusher without the locker room headaches that reportedly came with Micah. And Crosby fits that mold. He's a quiet assassin, keeps his head down, puts in the work, leads by example, and wrecks offensive lines. This season, he already has 4 sacks. And keep in mind, he was playing through injuries last year and still managed 7.5 sacks in limited games. In 2023, he dropped 14.5. In 2022, it was 12. Consistency, durability, leadership, he checks every box. So if you're Dallas, you're thinking, we've got a shot to stabilize this defense by adding a guy like that, even if it costs us a haul of picks. And make no mistake, it would. Word is the Raiders would need at least 2 first-round picks to even consider moving Crosby. Maybe more. That's not just steep, it's Howie Roseman territory. And now we're cooking. Because if Howie really did offer a monster package for Micah Parsons, like some insiders claim, then you have to wonder, would he also consider doing the same for Crosby? Because if the Cowboys land him and the Eagles do nothing, suddenly that balance of power in the NFC East shifts. Not drastically, but enough to matter. Now, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. This could still be nothing more than smoke. The Raiders love Crosby. He's a captain. He's the heartbeat of their defense. The fan base worships the guy. And unless Vegas is fully ready to enter rebuild mode, trading him would be a massive move, possibly the start of something much bigger. But from a football standpoint, it makes sense. The Raiders just got smoked by the Chiefs. They are nowhere near contending. Holding on to an expensive pass rusher when you're not even competitive isn't always the best play, especially when you could flip him for premium draft capital and retool your entire roster. Now, a couple of trade ideas have already hit the web. One proposal sends Crosby to Dallas for 2 first-rounders and a 4th. Another one includes a first, 2 seconds, and a couple of players, Jalen Tolbert and Sam Williams. It's a heavy price tag, but not out of the question if Dallas is truly desperate. And judging by the way their defense is playing, they might be. So let's bring this back to the Eagles, because it all comes back to Philly. This isn't just about the Cowboys making a splash. It's about what that splash would mean for the Birds. Right now, The Eagles have a pass rush problem. They're tied for 25th in the league with only 11 sacks. They've got one of the highest pressure rates in the NFL, top 5 in total pressures, but they're not finishing plays. Sack percentage is sitting at just 4%, 29th in the NFL. That's not championship-level production. And when Vic Fangio, a guy who normally relies on front four pressure, starts dialing up blitzes left and right, you know something's wrong. That's not his style. But he doesn't have much choice right now. The edge rushers aren't getting home. Haason Reddick's doing his thing, but outside of him, it's been thin. And that's where things get interesting. Because Brandon Graham just came out of retirement to rejoin the Eagles. That's a great story. A legendary player returning home for one more run. But let's be honest, it's a short-term patch, not a long-term solution. BG can still play. Last year, before he tore his triceps, he was quietly having one of his best seasons. His run defense was stellar. He was winning matchups. He was disruptive in the backfield. 4 sacks, 20 pressures in just 12 games. That's no small feat for a rotational player. But the Eagles need more than rotation right now. They need juice. They need someone who can wreck a game. And with the injuries piling up, Nolan Smith on injured reserve, Zdarius Smith gone, Azeez Ojulari out, the pass rush depth is razor thin. So here's the million-dollar question. Should Howie Roseman go all in on Maxx Crosby? Because we know how Howie operates. He doesn't sit back and watch his rivals load up. If Dallas is making calls, you can bet Howie is too, even if it's just to make sure the price stays high. But if the Raiders are truly open to moving Crosby, is it time for the Eagles to jump into the fray? Imagine a front that features Crosby and Reddick off the edges, with Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis crashing the middle. That's a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. That's a defense that could flip a season. But again, the cost is steep. 2 first-round picks, maybe more. And the Eagles already spent big to bring in veteran talent over the years. They're in win-now mode, but they also have to think about life after this core ages out. So maybe the smarter play is to target someone like Jermaine Johnson or Bradley Chubb, guys who are more attainable, still productive, but don't carry the same eye-watering price tag. That would allow the Eagles to upgrade without mortgaging the future. But you can't ignore what Dallas is doing. You can't ignore the possibility that Maxx Crosby ends up in the NFC East and makes life miserable for Jalen Hurts twice a year. This is the type of trade that doesn't just shift the standings. It shifts the entire psychology of the division. And if there's one thing we've learned about Jerry Jones over the years, it's that he doesn't like being embarrassed. That defense is embarrassing right now. And if he sees Crosby as the fix, he'll go after him with everything he's got. And while all eyes are on what Dallas might do, the real story unfolding in Philadelphia is the return of a legend, Brandon Graham suiting up once again for the Midnight Green. It's emotional, it's nostalgic, and it's absolutely necessary. Not because BG is expected to be a game wrecker at this point in his career, but because this defense is running low on leaders, low on juice, and dangerously low on healthy bodies at the edge position. The timing couldn't be more perfect or more urgent. Vic Fangio didn't sugarcoat it when asked about Graham's return. He acknowledged what every coach knows. Coming back from retirement isn't just about being in shape. It's about being in football shape. There's a difference between running drills at the gym and absorbing contact every Sunday against the biggest, fastest, meanest athletes on the planet. Fangio said it's about retention too. Does BG still know the defense inside and out? Can he react instead of thinking? Can he play fast? All of that is yet to be determined, but one thing's certain. This team needs him now, and you could see this coming. Fangio admitted that even in the offseason, he was poking at Graham, teasing him not to walk away, saying he still had gas in the tank. Because last year, before the injury, Graham was balling. His Pro Football Focus grade was just under 80, and his run defense was elite. The tape doesn't lie. Against the Rams, the very game where he got hurt, he was a force, blowing up run plays, creating pressure, drawing attention. That was not a washed-up veteran. That was a guy who could still go. And now, he returns to a pass rush rotation that's been completely gutted. Nolan Smith, the guy the Eagles were hoping would make a second-year leap, injured reserve. Zdarius Smith, the veteran they thought could help bridge the gap, retired. Aziz Ojulari, not likely to play. That leaves Josh Sweat, Haason Reddick, and not much else. Players like Patrick Johnson and Jix Hunt are giving effort, but they're not strike fear kind of players. This unit is thin, overworked, and struggling to convert pressure into sacks. So BG steps back, and not just as a stopgap, but as a potential emotional spark. He's that voice in the locker room that gets guys going. He's the one who knows what it takes to win here. Not just games, but championships. And even though he said he might cry walking out of the tunnel on Sunday against the Giants, don't think for a second that means he's not ready to go. He's been working out. He stayed close to football. And maybe most importantly, he's still got that fire, the one that kept him from fully closing the door on his career in the first place. When you hear BG talk about his return, it's clear this was never about just taking a victory lap. He didn't want to retire to begin with. It didn't feel right. But at the time, the roster was full. The Eagles were healthy. There wasn't really a role for him. And Graham made it very clear. He wasn't going to play anywhere else. It was Philly or nothing. So he stepped away, tried to embrace the offseason, played a lot of golf, and adjusted to what life might look like after football. But once the season crept closer and the injuries piled up, the door reopened. Howie Roseman reached out. He asked. He didn't beg. He didn't plead. He just said, "We need you." And that's all BG needed to hear. That moment, the moment Zdarius Smith retired, that's when everything shifted. Suddenly, the depth chart was too thin. Suddenly, the Eagles needed a voice, a presence, a spark. So BG laced up the cleats again. And now here we are. Number 55, back in the mix, ready to give this team whatever snaps he can, even if it's just 10 to 15 a game. That might be all they need from him physically. But emotionally, the impact is already massive. And it's a good thing, too, because the Eagles are heading into a tough stretch where they absolutely need more from their defense. Let's face it, the numbers don't lie. 11 sacks through 7 games? That's not good enough. Not for a team with Super Bowl aspirations. And while they've been able to generate pressure, over 140 total pressures so far, which ranks in the top 5, the conversion rate has been awful. Sack percentage is near the bottom of the league. Pressure is only part of the battle. If you can't finish, you give quarterbacks time to make plays. And that's been killing this secondary. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers have been circulating in the NFL circles. And if the latest murmurs are to be believed, the Philadelphia Eagles may be on the brink of a seismic shift. Sources close to the team suggest that Daniel Jones, the New York Giants quarterback often praised for his dual-threat capabilities, could be heading to Philly, sending shockwaves through the league and leaving fans and analysts buzzing. While nothing has been officially confirmed, insiders hint that Jones' arrival might not just be a typical roster move. It could fundamentally alter the Eagles' defensive line strategy. Imagine the possibilities. Daniel Jones, known for his mobility and quick thinking under pressure, joining a team that already boasts one of the NFL's most dynamic front 7 units, could create a ripple effect unlike anything seen in recent seasons. Word on the street is that the Eagles' coaching staff has been quietly devising schemes to exploit Jones' unique skill set, turning what was once a standard defensive line rotation into a constantly shifting, unpredictable nightmare for opposing offenses. If these rumors hold water, teams across the NFC East might have to completely rethink how they prepare for Philly's defensive assault. What's fueling the speculation even more is Jones' history of bouncing back under pressure and delivering clutch performances. Sources suggest that the Eagles see him not only as a potential starter, but also as a strategic chess piece. Someone who could orchestrate plays from the line of scrimmage, keep defenses guessing, and breathe new life into a unit that has long been a cornerstone of the team's identity. Inside sources hint at secret meetings, late-night film sessions, and whispers of experimental formations that could leverage Jones' athleticism in ways few could anticipate. While fans debate the plausibility of the move on social media, one thing is clear. The mere rumor of Daniel Jones in Philadelphia has set off a flurry of speculation. Jerseys are imagined, highlight reels are dreamed up, and rival teams are likely scrambling to prepare for a reality that might still be weeks away, if it happens at all. For now, the NFL world is left in suspense, eagerly awaiting confirmation, while the Eagles camp remains tight-lipped, letting the rumor mill churn and the excitement build. If this deal comes to fruition, it could redefine expectations not only for the Eagles, but for the entire league. For now, fans are left to wonder, is this the beginning of a new era in Philadelphia, or just another tantalizing whisper in the wind? That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.